What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color. Welcome back to another edition of This Week in Physical Media. We go live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. if you're at Central Time. And we talk about all the new releases coming out on Blu-ray and 4K on the following day, Tuesday, Blues Day Tuesday. And this is the January 30th episode. So join us on these Monday night streams if you want to hear about everything that's coming out this week and just general chat. I always talk to everyone that is here live, and we do a little Q&A as well, see what everybody's watching, see what everybody's collecting. So it's a good time. Feel free to join us. We start the week off with one of these every week. Tonight we've got a lot of stuff to get through. Arrow Video is dropping some 4K special editions. Criterion is dropping some stuff and some 4Ks as well. And Kino Lorber is dropping some 4Ks. Vinegar Syndrome, all kinds of good stuff to get to. Not like last week. Last week was a pretty weak week. But that's fine. It's the beginning of the year. We're still getting things going. But this week, we have got a lot to get through. So can't wait to share it with you guys. Let's see who's in the chat here. I see John Henry. I see Sam Fett. I see Sean Fox. Welcome, Sean Fox. And Sam Fett says, hello from Montgomery, Alabama. Hope everyone is doing well. That is very cool. You're not too far away from me. I'm right here in Georgia. My chat is not popping up, so let me see what's going on with that. Why is my chat not popping up? Let me see if I can fix this real quick without taking too much of our time here, because I want people to see what people are saying in the on this thing. So let me see here. I did this before the show. Should be working. Let's see. Testing. Oh man, there it is. There's Sam Fett. Whew. Glad I got that fixed. All right. Who else is here? Kevin House is here. Kevin says, this weekend I saw American Fiction, Poor Things, and Anatomy of a Fall. Oh, three great films. I watched those all recently as well. He says his favorite of the three is American Fiction. Sweet. My favorite of the three would be, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's either Poor Things or Anatomy of a Fall. I can't decide which one was my favorite of the year. I'd like to watch them both again before the Oscars, but I don't know if I'm going to get time. But American Fiction's way up there in my top 5 as well. Or right up there. Really good movies. Internet User is here. Hello. David Albee is here. Jeffrey Patrone is here. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We've got Jeffrey Patrone says the Criterion edition of Trainspotting looks lovely. One of my favorites. Oh, we'll get to that, sir. We will get to that here in just a second. Michael Smith is here. Last Movie Standing is here. Lots of people here. We will have a good night hanging out together tonight. Let's go ahead and look at the first few new releases. I'll switch over to my second cam here, and we have got The Prophecy 1, 2, and 3 on 4K. This is our first Vinegar Syndrome release that we're going to be talking about this evening. Tons of stuff. They always drop like everything on one day for the entire month, so there's a bunch of stuff here. I won't spend too much time on the Vinegar Syndrome stuff just because I'm not very well versed in the catalog that they put out. I have finally started collecting some Vinegar Syndrome, but it's not from them directly. It's from one of their partner labels or two of their partner labels, which I have a video on coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. But this is from Vinegar Syndrome, 3 movies in one, all 4K, and it is The Prophecy, which I am not familiar with, but I think it says it has Christopher Walken in it. So there's the front. Very nice artwork. Looks cool, but you got to check out the slipcovers for Vinegar Syndrome. That's what they're known for. And here's the slipcover for that. It looks like it might be like kind of a box set thing. It's got a slit going through it. And there's the back of the slipcover. So a nice 3-movie set coming out from Vinegar Syndrome. If you want that, make sure you get it quick because those go out of print immediately almost. And then they're on eBay for like 5 times as much. Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers are insane to try to collect. It's almost impossible unless you buy them all right out the gate. Another Vinegar Syndrome coming out this week is Daryl, Daryl, coming out on 4K, and there is the artwork for that one. Looks pretty cool. Some kind of AI film, science fiction thriller it's listed as here with a little child. Oh, we always do little children as robots. Not always, but a lot of the time. The kid next door is not who or what he seems to be. So there you go. That's cool. That's cool. I get excited when I see sci-fi from Vinegar Syndrome because it's usually like B movie trashy horror stuff, and I'm not a huge horror fan, as you guys know, but I can do sci-fi. I can definitely do B-movie sci-fi stuff. So that's from 1985, rated PG. That's surprising. Vinegar Syndrome putting out a PG film. I might have to look into that one. Let me know if anyone has seen that, because that's suddenly more interesting to me. And then let me do this one really quickly. Another Vinegar Syndrome release called Fatal Games is coming out, and it has got this killer slipcover, which I've seen going around in the groups. People have been getting them early and talking about how rare the slipcover is, and I don't know much about it, but it looks pretty cool. And here you go. Whoa, don't take me to Amazon. There's the back of the slipcover. Fatal Games. Now, this does look like a horror movie. Make sure I keep that image off the screen for too long so YouTube doesn't get mad at me. But there you go, 1984's Fatal Games. Only 88 minutes. Looks like a fun kind of video game style horror movie. Interesting. And then the biggest news for this week, at least for me personally, I really am excited about this one. From Arrow Video, we've got the Conan Chronicles coming out. This is the collection. They're releasing Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, but this one has both all in one big hardback slipcase, and it looks incredible. Look at this. Look at this. Oh man, I'm going to be going out tomorrow looking for this. I'm going to go on a hunting, probably film a video for you guys as well. I'm going to go out with John. We're going to hit up some Barnes & Nobles, see if we can find this, but also just look at the rest of the Arrow stuff they have, because it's the last day of the sale. I'm assuming the Arrow 50% off sale is ending when January ends, and I want to see if I can find anything else. So video coming later this week. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully we can get our hands on this beauty. Look at this. You've got Conan 1 and Conan 2. You got some art cards. You got a double-sided poster like they always do. 3 discs. You've got, and I don't know if the sequel is also 4K. It looks like it is. It looks like it is. So both of them are in 4K, and you've got a ton of just goodies inside there. And I don't even know what the special features are. I'm excited to see those. I've never seen Conan, so I'm excited to watch that one and pick it up. John's never seen it either, so if we can find ourselves a copy, we're going to do a movie night later this week and watch that over here downstairs in the theater. So really looking forward to getting into a little Conan this week. So that's coming out tomorrow. Everybody rush out to your Barnes & Nobles. Unless you live near me, then stay away from the Barnes & Nobles, because I want to get myself a copy, and I don't want you to steal them all. All right, what else do we have over here in the chat? People are saying, let's see, Jeffrey Patron watched an experimental 1930 silent film today starring Paul Robeson called Borderline. The Robeson Criterion set is almost, or is it Robeson? Maybe it's Robeson. Criterion set is almost worth it just for that film, in my opinion. Fascinating movie. I saw that you watched that on Letterboxd, and you sold me on it. It sounds really interesting. I need to add that to my watch list because I've never seen that one. Sam Fett says, my wife and I had an Aubrey Hepburn weekend. My Fair Lady, Sabrina, and Breakfast at Tiffany's. Grace loves Aubrey Hepburn. She loves all of those movies. I've only seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, I think. Yes. So hopefully I can watch those other 2 soon. Maybe we could do that in February. Maybe it's kind of like we talked actually last night about what we're going to do in theme for like February, and we thought about doing like Katharine Hepburn movies, but I brought up maybe doing Aubrey Hepburn movies because I've only seen one and she's seen them all. So that would be fun to do. We might do that. Jeffrey Patron says that cover looks sick from Vinegar Syndrome. I think he's talking about Prophecy. It does look pretty cool. Michael Smith says the packaging for Trainspotting is horrendous. Worst I've ever seen. The worst packaging of all time, according to Michael Smith. You heard it here first, folks. That is, that's quite a slam on Criterion. I don't know anything about it because I've never seen the film, so I don't know. Maybe it makes sense why it's like sideways, but Michael Smith is not a fan. Last Movie Standing says, have you all seen the packaging for Little Darlings from Vinegar Syndrome's new... Yes, I have, actually. We're going to talk about that later. Cinematograph? I don't know how to say that. Line looks really nice. It does look really nice. I can't wait to talk about that a little bit later. They're actually releasing 2 films this week with the same kind of packaging. And I'm a psychopath, and I for a second briefly considered picking those up just for the packaging, even though I know nothing about the films. But maybe if you guys sell me on those movies, I might pick those up because they look awesome. Luke S.E. Hey, that's a name I don't immediately recognize. Welcome to the stream. I got my first Blu-ray this week. It was a steelbook of The Jazz Singer from 1927, the first talkie. I saw it in a secondhand shop for £8, $10, and then I got BFI's release of Naked Lunch, also £8. Oh, so we got a UK visitor or UK guy visiting the stream tonight. Welcome. All countries are welcome on my streams, especially now that I'm collecting worldwide. I need people like you to give me tips on which ones I should pick up. So that's awesome, man. I think The Jazz Singer is also in the Criterion collection, and I have a copy of it because John let me borrow his copy, and I want to watch it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But 1927. That's pretty cool. That's a really cool release. And I'm glad you also picked up Naked Lunch. I picked that one up last year towards the end of the year. I still haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I would like to. Let's see. Jack Keating is here. Welcome, Jack. Evening, DJ. Very excited for the Trainspotting Criterion. I'll be picking it up probably during the flash sale. It's one of my favorite films ever. That's right. Criterion usually does a flash sale in February, so fingers crossed they do that again this year. Evil Wax. Hi, DJ. Dinner time in Portland, so joining a little late. Oh, no worries. No worries, man. I know I would love to start this at a time that was appropriate for Portland, but then it would be like midnight here, and I can't be up that late. I got to get up, take the kids to school. Dan's Dan is here. Michael Smith is here. For those curious, the Trainspotting packaging was shown on episode 42 of the Cinema Dave podcast at the 4:30 mark. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that little tidbit. I don't know that podcast. I might have to check that podcast out. A couple more questions here, but let's get back to the main focus of this video and jump into here because people want to hear what's coming out this week. Couple more Vincent releases here that we'll go through briefly because they look pretty gruesome. This is The Black Room from 1983, an 88-minute horror thriller, and looks like more in line with what I'm used to seeing from Vinegar Syndrome. Then they also have this, oh, excuse me, that's a Severin film. So we've got something from Severin Films, which I now have a couple of releases from, but I'm definitely no expert on Severin. This is The Psychic, which is a foreign film from 1977, and it's clearly a horror film. It says mystery, thriller, and drama, so maybe a more serious horror film. It's there it is, Psychic. It's a Lucio Fusi film. It is in 4K, and it does come with a slipcover with completely different artwork here, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I love the Severin logo there on the side. 4K Ultra HD release. That's an interesting looking film. I don't know anything about that, but Psychic's coming out from Severin. And then we've also got from Severin another film called Nightmare, which has an absolutely horrific cover of this horrific guy with like barbed wire. Definitely a horror film, which Severin, dabbles in quite a bit. That's kind of their main thing. And it is from 1981. So tons of 80s horror films coming out this month from Vinegar Syndrome and Severin. If you're excited about horror and you love 80s movies, then this is a big week for you. And that one is called Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. Alternate title on that one. So sounds as horrific as the cover looks. Let's briefly look at the Conan alternate releases. So we've got the one big release that has both films in it. Then we've got standard hardback slipcases with both films separately. You've got Conan the Barbarian 4K, which has the original poster on it, which looks really, really cool. And I would actually probably opt for that version if they didn't have a collection with both films in it. I do want that one, but this one has the original poster. It's all black. It's also from Arrow Video, and it is one movie with 3 different cuts. Now, the only cut that's in 4K, I believe, is the theatrical cut. That's what they usually do. That's what they did with Waterworld, but don't take my word for that. But they do have the other 2 cuts probably available on Blu-ray. And then the Conan the Destroyer film is also getting a release, an individual release from Arrow Video. That's the 1984 film, and there's what that one looks like. Maybe also using the original poster. I think that probably is the original poster. So they look great together. If you want to get them separately, you pay a lot more money, but they look really good. They're both black. They both have the border around the poster on the front. If you're a huge Conan fan, then maybe you could pick them up separately. I'm just going to get the box set because it is 50% off right now, so it would be like $40 instead of $80. So that's a steal. That's a steal. $20 a film, and you get this awesome packaging as well. I can't wait. I hope my Barnes & Noble still has one tomorrow. So that's Conan, and then we will do one more, and then we'll get into those releases that somebody already brought up. This is Unlawful Entry is getting a Blu-ray release from Shout Factory. Everybody's putting out stuff this week, so Shout Factory is getting in on it. This is a 1992 crime thriller And there you go. You've got Kurt Russell, you've got Ray Liotta, and you've got Madeline Stowe. And a very interesting looking cover there. Looks just like a crime film. A man obsessed will do anything for love. A cop obsessed can get away with it. So some kind of cop breaking the law, going rogue because of a woman, based on the cover there, because of Madeline Stowe. So there you go. I have not seen that film. Unlawful Entry. It's a pretty good name. That's a solid name. Great title. Let's jump back over here, see what people are saying in the chat. Holy crap, there's a lot of people here. Jeffrey Patron, George Cukor movies cover both Hepburn's, and if you want both of them, you could experiment with Cukor's filmography for February. I love me some Cukor. I've never seen a Cukor film that I haven't liked. The dude knew how to make a movie. I'm sure he, made some duds here and there, but everything I've seen from him has been great. So that's a great idea. I have seen a George Cukor film, I think, with both of those ladies. So that is interesting that he used both of them. Just to confuse people even more who get them mixed up. Not because they look similar or anything, just because they have a similar name. Let's see. What else are people watching? Evil Wax 73 just watched Everything is Illuminated over the weekend. Great film from 2000 starring Elijah Wood that sadly isn't even available on Blu-ray. That's a bummer, man. There are tons of things that still don't even have a Blu-ray, much less a 4K. And I don't know. I have a list of that. I've done a video called that. And but since then, I've seen several more things that don't have Blu-rays. I could totally do a whole nother, probably top 10 of that, just talking about those. Sean Fox says, I live in Queensland, Australia, which meant I was only able to watch Region B titles until just recently when I grabbed a Region Free player and christened it with Criterion's High Sierra. Awesome, man. That's really cool. I haven't gone completely Region Free yet, but I do have a player that allows me to play most Region B stuff and other stuff. So haven't had any trouble yet with it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I won't come across anything that I can't play. But it's only for Blu-rays. Obviously, 4Ks are already region free, but if you got some Region B Blu-rays, then you gotta pop those in the Region Free player. Thank you, John. John popped in. He's correcting me. He did not let me borrow the Jazz Singer from 27. It was King of Jazz. That's why I was second guessing myself, because I thought King of Jazz was from 29. Or 30. Was it 30? I knew it was a little bit later, so I knew it wasn't the right thing. But King of Jazz, he did let me borrow. I need to watch that very, very soon, so I can get it back to you, man. Let's see. Dan's Dan. Conan works incredibly well as a silent film with the Pelidorus score. Interesting. I wonder if they'll have that. Sometimes Arrow does alternate versions where you can do just audio tracks. For instance, on the Barbarella that just came out, we watched that, and they have a score-only track. But the problem is there's so much music in that film, like soundtrack, that if you take it out, there's like huge swaths of the film that don't have any sound because there wasn't score for that. So like the opening title sequence where she's like floating around and taking off her spacesuit is a soundtrack, not a score. So it's just silent. And then like 10 minutes into the film, hey, there's score. So it's not a great listen. I was kind of let down by it because I was like, oh, this would be a perfect movie to watch with just the music. But they didn't include the soundtrack, so it was just silent and then a little bit of score, which was a bummer. It does have a really good score, but I wish they could include the soundtrack too, because it would have been really fun to watch it that way. Let's see. Luke again. Also, I saw you posted on the community part of YouTube. You saw Satan Tango, but you haven't put anything on Letterboxd. Did you like it? I haven't seen it in the longest. I haven't seen it. The longest I've seen is Lawrence of Arabia. Okay, so everyone's telling what they watched over the weekend, so I'll go ahead and say what I watched over the weekend. I had the privilege of seeing Béla Tarr's masterpiece, Satan Tango, or Satan Tango, as it's said in Hungarian, I believe. It is a Hungarian film by the director Béla Tarr, and it is 8 hours long. It's actually 7 hours and 20 minutes long, but there was 2 intermissions that were 20 minutes each, so I was at the theater for 8 hours on Saturday. Bless my wife for watching the kids for me so I could go do that. The Plaza Theater in Atlanta was playing Satan Tango, and we went out. Me and John both went and checked out the film. We were there all day long, and we got dinner afterwards and talked about it. It's amazing. It's a really, really cool film. I don't want to say too much about it because, like I said, I haven't even written my Letterboxd review yet, but I will write a review, and then I will talk about it soon. I'm going to do a video about it because I spent all last week preparing for it, and by preparing for it, what I did was I watched the Hungarian films that I have. I have this box set from Second Run that came out last year called Hungarian Masters, and it has 3 films in it. One by Zoltán Fabry, one by István Gale, and one by Miklós Jancsó. And This was it was a really cool week because I got to watch these 3 films. My thinking was I just want to have some Hungarian films under my belt before I go jump off into the deep end and watch an 8-hour film. But I think it actually worked even better than I was expecting because all 3 of these films I think prepared me for that film. There's some similarities between all 3 of these and different similarities. So the first, I won't go into detail. I'm going to do a video about this. I'm going to do a video about my week in Hungarian cinema ending with Satan Tango. So I'll talk about that later, but I think they prepared me very well for my experience there. And it was just, I was very surprised by how riveted I was for the 7.5 hours because I thought it was kind of I was a little bit prepared for a slog, but it was not. It was, I don't know, very, very interesting. And I did not get bored. So if you have a chance, if that is playing anywhere near you, it is a one-of-a-kind theater experience with a packed house. I had a packed house there, and it was really cool. The guy sitting behind us recognized me from the channel, and he introduced himself. I wish I had got to talk to him a little bit more. His name was Will, but he was nervous that he was going to bother me. But you definitely don't have to bother me. If anyone sees me in public, you're not going to bother me. I would love to talk to you about movies, and I wish I got to talk to him a little bit more. But he left a comment about it. So thanks, Will. It was great to meet you. And like I said, if you get a chance to go see that film in a theater near you, definitely take it because it doesn't come around very often. And it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Evil Wax says the longest I've seen is Until the End of the World. Kevin House says the longest film I've seen is Showa, although not in one sitting. It's 9.5 hours. Yes, Showa is a little bit longer. I don't know if I'll end up watching Showa completely all the way through. If it's in a theater, maybe, because that was really fun. I had a great day. Let's see. We've got something here from Code Anime Fan. People give Zack Snyder a hard time for his 4-hour version of Justice League. But Satan Tango gets a pass. Yeah, absolutely. I would still say that because there was nothing in Satan Tango that I felt was unnecessary. He was like Zack Snyder, and the same thing. I had the same exact thing with Killers of the Flower Moon, which I watched on Friday night right before I went to Satan Tango the next day, which probably not the best idea, but I think that also helped prepare me like with my attention span. So Grace and I watched that. I finally seen Killers, and it's great. But I think it's too long. I think there's unnecessary segments. Like, he's just making a regular movie. Like, there's like, I don't know, there's standards for it. And we're expecting a certain thing. And there's just huge swaths of that movie that could have been cut out. There's like a scene at the wedding where we just focus on this random dude that we don't know who's dancing around for like a few minutes. We're just watching him and he has nothing to do with anything. And then it's not even like a great shot because they try to pan down to his feet to show his feet. And then someone walks in front of the camera so you can't even see his feet. And then it comes back up. It's like a really long, unnecessary shot. And I feel like there's some scenes in that you could have cut. We didn't need to see every single one of the family members die in every single planning session for that. So I think he was being a little self-indulgent in that. I know I'm going to get raked over the coals for calling Scorsese self-indulgent. But with Bela Tarr in Satan Tango, he's doing a very specific thing, and the long takes, the takes are like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes long. There's like a 10-minute take. Like, it's a lot of long takes, and the whole point of it, that's the whole point of it. So you can't do that. If you're going to do that, you have to commit to the bit. But if you're just going to make a Justice League movie, there's no reason it has to be 4 hours long. That's my opinion. Connor's here. Welcome, Connor. Evil Wax says, that's an endurance test. 8 hours is crazy. Like I said, it's only 7 hours and 20 minutes, but with the intermissions, it gets you to 8 hours in the theater. Ethan says, Kino has a good Miklos Jankso set for cheap. Yeah, that's it. He's an interesting guy. Very very interesting. Like I said, I'll talk about it in the video. Let's see. John says, oh yeah, DJ will have to do Workmeister in a few months. Yes, I'm very excited about that. Criterion is putting out another Bela Tarr film. His films are really hard to get. They don't have physical releases really here in the States, so I'm very excited that Criterion's doing another one. Luke says, I guess a film doesn't have a responsibility to be short and sweet. Killers of the Flower Moon, I guess, showed most of the killings to highlight just how brutal the killings were. Yeah, I'm not saying it has to be short and sweet. I just thought it went a little bit long. I feel like I could have got the same impact from a film that was 2 hours, 2.5. Michael Smith, your next challenge, should you choose to accept it, is the 8-hour film Empire by Warhol. 8 hours of slow-mo shot of the Empire State Building. I don't know if I would find that as interesting. Let's see. Jeffrey Patron, BRB committing to the bit of thinking Ishtar is a great movie. All right, let's go ahead and... Oh yeah, Kevin House says, I love Scorsese, but I agree with you that some of his more recent films have been a little longer than necessary. Yeah, just a little bit, but still great. I have no other complaints about them. All right, this is what we're talking about. So someone brought up earlier I can't remember what film it was. It may have come out earlier in the month, but this one is coming out tomorrow, and it's called Red Rock West. Say that 5 times fast. And it doesn't look like much here, and I don't even think it shows it. There it is. Look at that. So it looks like a cloth-bound book, which is amazing, and it has a slipcase. So it slides into the slipcase, which you just saw in the previous photo. And then there it is. It's just 100%, it's like a digibook, but it's a real book. It's like a cloth-bound book. I've never seen anything do this before. Maybe I have. Maybe I've seen something do this before. But it looks amazing. There's the slip back. Welcome to Red Rock, and you can see right there, it opens up. It's got a bunch of pages in it, like a digibook, and then I'm assuming the disc is right there on the back page. But this is a what's his name? Nicolas Cage film. And I've never heard of this Nicolas Cage film, but this is from Vinegar Syndrome. I think it's from a partner label called Cinematograph, and it's from 1993. It's a short little 98-minute film, a crime drama, a crime thriller, and I don't know anything about the film. I'm not a huge crime thriller fan, but that packaging is just gorgeous. Super beautiful. Like someone mentioned earlier, this is their second release. They also have another film that has the exact same packaging, and it would be really nice to collect these. Look at this. There, look how young Nicolas Cage is. Look at that guy. That's like, what's that Coen Brothers movie that he's in? It's around that area. Raising Arizona. That looks like that kind of era. A little bit later, but what a handsome fellow that Nicolas Cage is. He's, there he is. Look at that. Film looks great. I think it's a 4K transfer. Maybe it's just a Blu-ray. Just a Blu-ray, but the packaging looks amazing. So let me know if anyone has collected that from that label before, from that specific partner label from Vincent, because that looks really cool. Then we have another release from Vincent, this is a Severin film. They have a lot of crossover with their style stuff. But there it is. You've got, what is it called? Bad Biology. Another horror film, a horror fantasy film though, which is a little bit more interesting to me. You've got 5+ hours of special features, 4K restoration, and you've got a whole booklet, a hardcover packaging with a 96-page image gallery in there. So very cool releases coming out this week, especially for horror fans. That is a newer film from 2008 from Severin. Very, very cool. I will go ahead and jump into some Kino Lorber releases before I hop back to talk to you guys in the chat. So keep those questions and comments coming in, and I'll save them up and talk to you here in a minute. This one I'm very excited about. So this one is from Kino Lorber, and I haven't decided if I'm going to pick this one up or not, but I kind of want to. This is an, I get so many names in my head right now. Who is this? This is Fritz Lang. Fritz Lang film Scarlet Street, which I have on Blu-ray, and I watched very recently for the first time. One of my friends came over. Evan, you know Evan. He's been on the channel before. His wife went to film school, and one of her favorite films, she loves Fritz Lang, one of her favorite films is Scarlet Street. Favorite films of all time. So they came over, and we watched it, and it is really, really good. It is kind of a spiritual successor to M. If you've seen M, it's kind of like M, except instead of, you know how M, he's the villain for most of the movie, and then you don't, very, very, very end of the movie for like the last 20 minutes, then you get inside his head and find him sympathetic. But Scarlet Street is kind of that same thing where it's a sympathetic murderer, but it's not a serial killer, but it's a sympathetic murderer, and you're on his perspective kind of through the whole film, and it's really, really cool. Joan Bennett kind of steals the movie. She gives an incredible performance, and I'm so glad that it's getting a 4K release, because the Blu-ray looked great, but I imagine this one looks even better. This is it. This is the 4K slipcover from Kino Lorber. Love that they're still doing those slipcovers for those 4Ks. Hope they keep doing that. Maybe get rid of the ugly banner at the top, but whatever. I guess you got to keep consistent at this point. But this is a 1945 film. It is a talkie. It's much more of a talkie than M, because that was much closer to the transition period. But I highly recommend Scarlet Street. It was very good. I really enjoyed it, and it's only $25 on Amazon right now for a 4K from Kino Lorber, which is crazy. A couple other Kino Lorber releases coming out today are and I don't think this is a 4K. I think this one's just a Blu-ray, but it's He Walked by Night from 1948. Very similar time period. Another film noir crime thriller. And there's the front. You've got Richard Basehart and Scott Brady. And then there's the cover. Very, very much looks exactly like a noir cover. I imagine you're getting exactly what you expect with that one. And there's the underside of the slipcover. Different artwork underneath, which is very cool. Haven't seen that one. I've seen Scarlet Street. Have not seen that one. But there's a ton of noirs from that period that I haven't seen yet. And then also from Kino Lorber, another Blu-ray, not a 4K release, is a TV season. We've talked about both of the previous seasons. So they put out, I believe they're putting out one every month. So I think December was Monk season 1, maybe November, and then December was Monk season 2. Now January is Monk season 3, all 640 minutes from 2004, coming out on Blu-ray with a slipcover. Very, very cool that a boutique label is putting out just a network like investigation show. That's very cool. And I've never seen Monk, but it's similar to Psych, which Psych came out after Monk. I really got into Psych, but I never saw Monk, so I would like to go back. And Monk got a movie last year. I think they just released like a movie in 2023, which is interesting. I don't know if I'll get into Monk because it's like 8 seasons. I don't know how many seasons it is, but it's a lot, and it's intimidating, and I don't know if I have time to get into like a 42-minute drama show that has that many episodes. But for the big fans of that show, that's really cool that Kino Lorber's putting that out. That's really cool. Kino Lorber's killing it, as always. I don't even need to say that at this point. Let's see. Slipmaker. Bonsoir, DJ. Favorite theater? I don't know if he said that because I said I was doing my French lessons on Duolingo recently, but that's what he said, so that's what I read. Favorite theater you've ever been to? That is a crazy question. I've only been to the Plaza twice. The Plaza is an awesome theater. We have a lot of cool theaters here. So the Plaza is where I saw After Hours in 35mm, and I just saw Shot in Tango this weekend. Very, very cool experience, and like packed house. Like there's a lot of film lovers that go to that theater. We also have the Midtown Art Cinema, which I can't remember the name of that right now, but there's a Midtown Art Cinema that I've seen a couple things at. They always do something which we're going to go to here in a couple weeks. They show all of the shorts, all the Oscar-nominated shorts, and all the Oscar-nominated animated shorts. So that's really cool. You can just sit down and watch them all at once. Grace and I are going to go to that. I think it starts in February. That's a really cool theater as well. They show a lot of old stuff in 35mm and stuff. And then we have the Terra, which is another really, really cool vintage looking theater that I've never been to. So I need to check out the Terra. Then also right here in Marietta, where I live, we have the Strand Theater, which is a much, much older theater. It's a 100-year-old theater, and they show some really cool silent films with live organ accompaniment. So I love going there as well. But yeah, there's just really a lot of cool theaters here. It's hard to pick. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. Let's see. Internet user says Red Rock West. I cannot say that title. Should have been a 4K. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go through all the trouble of that packaging, you got to go all the way with it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there is a 4K version. It didn't say anything about it. But Michael Smith says that Red Rock West is a great 90s neo-noir. Highly recommended. Interesting. The only neo-noir I've seen from the 90s is Hotspot. And I recommend the Hotspot. Jennifer Connelly. And it's a really crazy, like bonkers movie. Is Red Rock West anything like the Hotspot? If you've seen both of those, let me know. Let's see. Dan's Den just watched Miracle in Milan. If you like Italian neorealism mixed with fantastical elements, this movie is for you. That movie sounds like it's exactly for me. I love Italian neorealism. I got into Pasolini last year, and I, of course, love fantasy. You guys know that. And I do own that film. I picked it up in one of the sales, and that's kind of what I picked it up for. It sounded like something I would really like. I need to get around to finally watching that. I need to watch more Italian things. This year has kind of been... Last year was like mostly French stuff. This year I've been getting into a lot of Hungarian stuff and Czech stuff, obviously. So maybe I can get into some Italian stuff in the latter half of the year. Or maybe next year. There's always next year. Let's see. Evil Wax says Red Rock West is kind of reminiscent of Blood Simple, but not as good in my opinion. Interesting. Okay, so kind of a Coen Brothers vibe. They always like to do that kind of crime mystery stuff. Ben Loves Movies is here. Hey, Ben. How you doing? Just joined the stream. Got back from a screening of The Grand Illusion about 15 minutes ago. Oh, man. I would love to see that in the theater. I love The Grand Illusion. I've only seen it once, but I really got to get my hands on that out-of-print Criterion DVD because, of course, as soon as I buy it, there's going to be an announcement that it's coming back in the collection for 4K or something, because that's always my luck, but I would love to see it in the theater. That's very cool that you got to see that. Let's see. Kevin House, glad you like Scarlet Street. Wasn't that in... It is scrolled up. Wasn't that in the collection your late friend gave you? Now you have to watch Women in the Window. It was. It was one of the ones that I got in Paul's collection after he passed. So I was very happy to go ahead and watch that with someone who loved it so much. Let's see. Eva Wax, our best theater in Portland is Hollywood Theater. I have a friend who lives in Portland. Name's Connor. Been on the channel quite a bit, and I'm sure he knows what theater you're talking about. I'm sure he's been there. And he has, because he just said the old Hollywood is lovely. Their 70mm presentation of Oppenheimer was killer. So yes, maybe you'll bump into Connor there, and you can talk to him about some movies. Sean Fox says, I will have to grab a copy of Scarlet Street on 4K. Dan Duria, I'm probably butchering that name, is one of my favorite actors, and I love his collaborations with Audie Murphy. Interesting. I don't remember which one he was in that film. Jeffrey Patron says, my local theater is also over 100 years old. It was a big deal when they opened. They had 3 rooms. Sometimes I think about that and laugh. Your local theater sounds great. Yeah, the Strand Theater that's 100 years old only has 1 big room. It's just one. That's all it is. And but it looks great. It looks like an old-timey like performance theater, like a Broadway theater. It's got like the big giant curtains that go all the way to the ground, the big organ. It's very cool. Connor, my favorite theater in Portland is a toss-up between the Hollywood and Cinema 21. Sounds like you guys got a lot of cool theaters over that way too. Let's jump back in and get some more new releases out. This one is exciting as well. This is a Marx Brothers release. Warner Archive has been putting out a ton of stuff lately, and they've been putting out a lot of the Marx Brothers movies, and I think this one is not in the box set that I have from Arrow Academy, which has 4 of their films. This one's not in there. So once I finally get around to watching through that box set, if I really like those films, then I might check out this one. It's called A Day at the Races with Alan Jones and Maureen O'Sullivan. A Metro Goldwyn Mayer picture. A Samwood production. Got all 3, 3 of the Marx Brothers there. This is from 1937. It's 109 minutes. And it's, of course, a comedy film. It's about racing. It looks like it's a sports film, which is interesting. Side note, because it's kind of similar. If you haven't seen, there's a Silly Symphony, I believe. Or is it a Mickey Mouse short? I think it's actually a Mickey Mouse short from like the 40s or the 30s that is about polo. And it's got it's like the Mickey Mouse characters versus all the big celebrities of that time. And you've got some of the Marx Brothers on there, I believe. You've got a guy who looks like Charlie Chaplin. You've got all kinds of people. Shirley Temple is there. It's really cool to pick out all the references and really fun to see all the animation. But anyway, that's a completely different thing. This, it just reminded me of it because he's riding a horse right there and he looks kind of cartoony. But A Day at the Races is getting a release from Warner Archive. And then we've got a film called Redneck Zombies from 1989, which looks very gruesome. This next one I'm very excited about. So this is The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. I've mentioned the last couple weeks, or maybe just the last week, that I've started collecting Deaf Crocodile films. Deaf Crocodile is a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, and they put out 3 films by a director that I'm very interested in called Alexander Ptushkin, and he puts out these epic fantasy, like folklore films, and he is a Russian director, I believe. And so I've already picked up all 3 of those films from Deaf Crocodile, and I'm very excited to look at those. And Deaf Crocodile, if you don't know, they're just like Vinegar Syndrome. They do these limited edition exclusive slipcover runs, but once they're gone, and then you just pick up the regular Blu-ray case. So we'll take a look at here. This is the front of the case. Awesome. This is like a crazy... I've read the description on this one, and I was actually thinking about pre-ordering it because it sounds very, very cool as well. It's kind of like this Jules Verne adaptation with like all this kind of like similar to Carol Zeman, but later, because this is from 1981, and it sounds kind of like Carol Zeman mixed with, I don't know any of the 80s directors' names. Who's the guy who directed Brazil? Kind of similar to him, kind of similar to, a little bit of Monty Python, that kind of humor a little bit. It sounds like it's all those things kind of mixed together, and it's also from the 80s. It's a comedy. It's a fantasy, like weird, bizarre comedy thing. Here's the slipcover, Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. Completely different. I mean, you can tell just by this artwork. Look at this. Doesn't this look amazing? This looks like something I would love. I might have to pick this one up before the slipcover goes out of print, but there's the back of it. Why does that always take me to Amazon when I click on that? There it is. Look at that. Look at that. This looks incredible. So, I might have to pick this up right after we get off this call. But there it is. There it is. Look at that. Go to Deaf Crocodile's website if you are interested in that film. I think it's a Czech film. It's a Czech film as well. So sounds right up my alley. The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. Very excited about that one. Happy that one's coming out. Thanksgiving, a 2023 film that did pretty well in the theater. I was surprised at this one. I heard good things about this one. It is a horror film, holiday film, if you can call it that. Takes place on Thanksgiving, which is cool. We don't have a big famous. We've got Christmas horror movies. We've got obviously Halloween horror movies. So we got a Thanksgiving one from Sony this year, or last year, end of last year, and I heard it wasn't too bad. Then we've got, what is this here? Another Severin film. So Severin Film's dropping a lot of stuff this week. Terry Gilliam, thank you. Undeclared Nation in the chat wrote Gilliam. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Terry Gilliam. A little Terry Gilliam, a little Monty Python, and a little Carol Zeman, and Jules Verne, which is always great. Danza Macabre, Volume 2, the Italian Gothic collection from Severin Films. It's got, how many films in here? Jekyll? They Have Changed Their Face, The Devil's Lover. So 3 films, kind of a trilogy of films here. And it's just really nice. It looks almost like the box sets that come from Imprint with the case that just slips off the top. Kind of similar to that Joe box set that just came out from Arrow. So this looks awesome. It's got 4 films in it. Like I said, Castle of Blood, Jekyll, They Have Changed Their Face, and The Devil's Lover. A lot of horror stuff coming out in February. February, apparently a big month for horror stuff. And that's a Severin Films release. Those films are from 1964 to 1972. So if you like that era of horror, which I do, that sounds interesting. One more here, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit because the chat is stacking up over there. This is a Warner Brothers release of Joe's Apartment. This is actually Warner Archive. It's crazy that Warner Archive is putting out films from the 90s already. That makes me feel kind of old. But they're putting out a film from 1996 called Joe's Apartment, which is a comedy, musical, fantasy. There you go. No idea what's going on. It says sex, bugs, and rock and roll. That looks absolutely bananas. Let me know if anyone has seen Joe's Apartment. All right, jumping back to you guys over here. What do we have in the chat? Let me take a quick sip while I read one of these. We've got Connor back. Great movie memory coming out of COVID. The Hollywood was showing a 35mm print of House 1977. And I got the entire place to cheer whenever Kung Fu did something awesome. How did you get them? How did you get them to cheer? What did you do? Did you just start the cheer? And then Connor says, which is basically anytime she's on screen. Yeah, Kung Fu is awesome. I know you particularly love Kung Fu from that movie. She's a great character. Evil Wax says, if there's anyone who likes watching docs on movies, I recently discovered the story of film, an Odyssey on Canopy. I've added a ton of movies to my Letterboxd watch list thanks to this doc series. Interesting. There's a couple docs coming out this year. There's a documentary about Superman, Christopher Reeve, not Superman. It's about Christopher Reeve and his story, which is coming out. It's already hitting Sundance. I think it was at Sundance. And there's another documentary coming out about Reading Rainbow, which I was interested in because I watched that as a kid. So a lot of documentaries coming out. I hope the Reading Rainbow documentary is kind of similar to the Mr. Rogers documentary because I love that one. Michael Smith, DJ Brian Sauer of Just the Discs channel just did a good review of the Day at the Races release. Oh, I'll have to check that out. I'm always looking for more movie channels that I can subscribe to. So I'll have to check that one out and see how that release is. Let us see. Skip. People are talking to other people. Luke, I was a fan of Thanksgiving. Very stereotypical in plot, but very creative in the ways people got picked off by the murderer. It has the ugly digital feeling of looking like it was shot on an iPhone. Ooh, that's unfortunate, but it sounds like you mostly enjoyed your experience, so that's cool. Joe's Apartment, this is Dan's Den, first movie that the late studio Blue Skies worked on. Oh, let's all take a moment of silence for Blue Skies. That's a bummer, but that's cool that they're getting. How did Warner Archive get it? I guess it was a collaboration. Evil Wax, the only ones I've been able to see in 35 and 70mm at Hollywood are Interstellar and The Hateful Eight. I mean, not bad ones to see, so I've heard. An internet user, did you see the popcorn container for Dune Part 2, the Sandworm one? No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to make a note to look that up because we like getting those kind of gimmicky things. Like we just get this. My wife always has to get an icy every time we go to a movie, so we always get like we have a bunch of these cups. We haven't got any that from films that I really like yet, which is unfortunate, but hopefully someday we'll get some that I like. David Albee has to go. Thank you for tuning in, David. See you afterwards in the comments. And yeah, I'm going to have to look up that sandworm popcorn box. Let's go ahead and jump over here and see what else is coming out this week. Making our way through there's a ton of stuff. We're going to be here all night. The Violent Years. This is from AGFA, which is another label. Another day, another label. I don't even know what this label is, but it is a slipcover in original pressing only. It's limited edition to the first 1,000 copies. So a lot of these boutique labels are doing that these days, like Vinegar Syndrome. And here it is. It's The Violent Years by Ed Wood Jr. It's 4 films by Ed Wood: Girl Gang, Wolf Packs, Take Their Thrills, and Unashamed. It's got a super cool cover. I love this stippling. It's called stippling in the art world. It's kind of like that pop art vibe with all the pixelated dots. And yeah, it looks really cool. This is 4 films. I wish we got more about the set. Is it a box set? Is it just a single case with 4 films on like 2 discs or something? Oh, it's only 2 movies. Excuse me. It is only 2 movies. I don't know why it says that down there. It says Girl Gang, Wolf Packs, Take Their Thrills, Unashamed. I guess that's just like the tagline, but it's only 2 films. And like I said, that's the slipcover. We don't know much else about the packaging, but clearly it's like film noir crime films by Ed Wood Jr. Interesting. That is a new label I have to check out. AGFA. So it's just so many labels that are coming out. On 4K from 1981 from Kino Lorber, we've got The Boogans. The Boogans, a very different thing from Kino Lorber, not in line with the other things they're dropping this month. But after 100 years, they have reawakened. So like a zombie movie, like a Twilight. Oh, here we go. It is so that's just a quote from Stephen King. I recommend The Boogans cheerfully and heartily. So Stephen King endorses it. And it looks like just a fun 80s horror movie, another 1981. Big year for this week. Tons of 81 films coming out this week. Haven't heard of that, but it also does have a 4K slipcover, which looks much cooler. I actually like the artwork on that better. I hope I'm not besmirching the original artwork when I say that, but that looks really cool. Some things shouldn't be disturbed. It's weird that there's 2 taglines on it. There's some things shouldn't be disturbed on the top, and then there's a title, and then there's another one, there is no escape. So they're really hitting you hard with some threats from these boogans that are popping up. Now, this we have to talk about. This is like, I'm not going to say I predicted it, but I've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, that maybe Walmart is taking over as the new physical media head after Best Buy is bowing out, because here it is. We were talking about the Lionsgate steelbooks last month or so, and we're like, who's going to get the Lionsgate steelbooks now? And I was like, maybe Walmart will get them, and they are, it looks like, because here's the Walmart exclusive steelbook. It's a Lionsgate film steelbook, just like the Rand steelbook and all those ones that came out last year that everyone loved. They have the slipcover and everything, and here it is. This is the slipcovered steelbook for Silent Night, a 2023 film, and it's going to Walmart's only. So check your local Walmarts and see if they are carrying steelbooks. Hopefully more of them do. I've been to some that have a really good movie section, but that's like few and far between. Most of them have like nothing but DVDs. But here it is. That's the front. You can see it's a slipcovered steelbook. I don't know what happens when you slide it off. Maybe we'll see in the last one here. Nope, we'll not see. But that's all we get. We get 3 pictures for the Walmart exclusive steelbook of Silent Night, a very recent film from just last year, an action movie, which I haven't even heard of. It sounds like a Christmas movie, but I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's an action movie, and it's going straight to Walmart shelves. So that is a big deal moving forward. Umbrella Entertainment is also a label that I am familiar with, but have not purchased anything from yet. This is from Australia, I believe. And they're putting out the sci-fi musical Sons of Steel from 1988. This is just all 80s all the time this week. Here it is. This looks absolutely bananas. This looks like a Ninja Turtle with like a Gimli head with space goggles on. I don't know what's going on here. Sons of Steel looks like an absolutely crazy movie that I've never heard of. Is that an Australian film, I wonder? Or is it American? I don't know where that's from, but it looks crazy. That's the front. There's the slip, which also looks crazy. You've got, there's a Gimli turtle again. You've got this like mummy. I can't even describe this cover. You've got all this stuff. I hope you're not listening to this like a podcast and you're actually looking at it, because anything you could imagine in an action movie is on this cover. It looks crazy. And then the slip back. There you go. More ladies showing their booties, and kind of this, I don't know if he's a cop or if he's like a band member, but there he is, high school band leader with some really cool shades on. That looks like a crazy movie. I don't know what the heck's going on, but Umbrella Academy is putting that out tomorrow, so check out their website if that looked interesting to you at all. Also from 1978, coming out, Skateboard, film called Skateboard, with a really cool cover. Man, I am just so out of my depth. I don't even know what this is from. This is from Factory 25, a whole nother label. It's got some really cool original artwork throughout. That's the slipcover. That's the slip back. Very, very cool. I don't know if that's another partner label from Vinegar Syndrome. It might be, because that kind of looks like a similar slipcover to something that they would do, or Yellow Veil or Deaf Crocodile, like I mentioned. And that's a comedy sport drama movie, so a skateboarding comedy. Interesting. Couldn't think of a better name than Skateboard. I guess it's descriptive, but I don't know. I think you could have did better. A couple other Vinegar Syndrome releases. This is Forgotten Jolly Volume 6, limited to 7,000 copies there. And then you've got The Dog Who Stopped the War, another Vinegar Syndrome exclusive. And it is a foreign family comedy adventure. Man, Vinegar Syndrome is much more diverse than I gave them credit for. This is a family comedy movie from the country of France. A French comedy. Dude, I gotta get into some Vinegar Syndrome. So it's like a snow day movie about a dog? What is going on? That is from Canadian International Pictures, so I guess it's a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, so that makes sense. Maybe that's one of their partner labels that puts out family movies. I need to check that out. And of course, because it's January 30th, it is another 80s film, 1984. One movie and 2 cuts on that one. Man, we're going to have to start flying through these because there's a ton of stuff coming out this week. Let me see real quick what you guys are saying over here, and we can move on. Let's see. Connor talking about one of my cups. Luke, is that the same Ed Wood that the film of the same name is about by Tim Burton? If so, them films will be the worst films you've ever probably seen. I don't know if that's the same Ed Wood. That's immediately what I thought when I read it, but I don't know. I don't know if that was Ed Wood Jr. Dan says The Boogans was a stinker of the week on Siskel and Ebert's sneak previews. It always looked like one of those crazy horror movies. Interesting. So that might be more of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 watch. Connor says, I popped into my local Walmart and it was the same old crap. Terrible selection, tiny movie section, and pretty much all of it was DVD with no 4K in sight. You suck, Walmart. That's what he says. Sorry, man. They didn't get the memo that they're supposed to be taking the baton after Best Buy leaves. I've seen some Walmarts that have a ton of steelbooks, but yeah, most of them are exactly what you just described, which is a bummer. Hopefully they get the memo soon. Evil says Plan 9 from Outer Space was parodied by Mystery Science Theater 3000. Dan's Den says, real shame they didn't call it Skateboard the movie. Yeah, even that would have been better. That would have been funny, at least. Kevin House, Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the funniest films ever made. Unintentionally, of course. I don't know how that movie came up, but everyone's talking about it now. Kevin House says it is the same Ed Wood, but he only wrote The Violent Years and did not direct it. Yes, I had to look that up. Well, good. I'm glad even Kevin House has to look things up every now and then. Usually he is a fountain of knowledge. And yeah, we're getting into some real deep cuts at this point. So don't go away. If you're still here live with us, I will still continue to talk to you guys. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff coming out this week from some very specific labels that I know a lot of people don't collect on my channel. A lot of people are Criterion people and Kino people. But I want to bring up everything just in case there's something that catches your eye. This is Charlie Victor Romeo 3D is getting a Blu-ray. From 2013, an 80-minute film. It's got Blu-ray 3D and Anaglyph 3D, limited to 1,000 copies. Front, there it is. Got a ton of film festival. You got Sundance and all the other film festivals. So this is pretty critically acclaimed there. An unusual and unforgettable film defies one convention after another. You've never seen anything like it. So interesting. What is this? This is a drama. Oh, it's a documentary, a history documentary called Charlie Victor Romeo. Interesting. Like a Air Force documentary or something like that. And then from Kino, Warner Archive. This one was interesting to me too. I had to put it in the thumbnail because I was interested in it. It's an Errol Flynn adventure, which I love. Love me some Errol Flynn. This is from 1937. This is a Warner Archive film starring Errol Flynn and the Mouch twins, and it's The Prince and the Pauper. the famous Mark Twain book, Prince and the Pauper. You get I don't remember there being like sword fights in The Prince and the Pauper, but maybe there was, or at least maybe Errol Flynn is doing that in this movie. He has a sword right there on the cover. 118 minutes from 1937. That one looks like I don't know. That could go either way. Let me know if that's a fun one or not. That's the kind of thing where I don't feel like it needs to really stick to the book that much. It could just be like an Errol Flynn adventure that kind of borrows from the book. I'm not expecting like a off the page adaptation with that one. And then from MVD Visual, we're getting Cutting Class on 4K. It's called a collector's edition. I don't know what that means because we don't get any other pictures. It's just a standard case, but it is getting a 4K release. That's the most 80s, that's the most horrible 80s font I've ever seen. Cutting Class, two completely different fonts. Is that Brad Pitt? Is that a baby Pitt right there? That looks like a baby Pitt. Who's in this? I think that's a baby Pitt. Like 1989 Pitt. That's like before he was in Thelma and Louise even. And he's like a skinny little guy in Thelma and Louise. Wow. Cutting Class. High school movie, I'm assuming. And then we've got the Abbott and Costello show. Serial at Midnight just did a post about this. He said it looks amazing. This is from Classic Fix. It's season 2 of the television show, remastered for Blu-ray. And apparently they had to do a lot of work on this to get it remastered, especially like television from that period was not taken care of. So it's very, very cool that they worked really hard to get a restoration of that film. So if you're a big Abbott and Costello fan, especially their TV work from 53 to 54, that's 676 minutes of Abbott and Costello for you, right there, available on Blu-ray. These screenshots look great. Very, very nice. So that's awesome that we're getting that. And from Warner Archive as well, I wish we would kind of group these in sections, but I guess we're bouncing all over the place. Another Warner Archive release. This is Rover Dangerfield, which is I'm assuming it's actually Rodney Dangerfield voicing a dog for like a family comedy animated musical. So there you go. It's from 1991, but it kind of looks like it's from the 70s with that animation style. No, I guess that's kind of 90s. It says a family film. I don't actually know if it is a family film. That's not from me. That's from Blu-ray.com. They call it family. So there you go. Rover Dangerfield. If anyone was just dying to see Rodney Dangerfield's voice coming out of a dog. What kind of dog is that? I don't even know what that is. It's like one of those, it's like a Beethoven dog. I don't know what that is. Queens of Earth, getting a release from IFC Films. That's a 2015 movie. A short little psychological thriller from 2015 with a really cool cover. Everything is getting good packaging these days. It's really hard to narrow down what you want to pick up. If you were someone who just bought for the packaging, you're either broke or you have to change your collecting habits because everything is looking great. I can't complain. I love that studios are putting in a lot more effort than they used to. Warner Archive is not one of those studios. They're just putting out the bare bones Blu-rays, but that's fine because they're putting out a ton of old movies that would never see the light of day anyway. And I'm sure these aren't like flying off the shelves. Speaking of, we have Cabin in the Sky, the musical comedy sensation, which is another Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer film, and or Meyer. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's from 1943. Another musical from Warner Archive, which is very cool. It said a fantasy musical. Interesting. I wonder what's fantasy about it. And then way down here, I don't know why this is way down here on the list. These are kind of sorted on Blu-ray.com by popularity. So I don't know why people aren't super excited about Mudbound, but Criterion's putting out Mudbound, a 2017 film, a drama period piece from 2017, like I said. And there it is, full-on Criterion release coming out tomorrow. I don't know why it's not up higher on the list, but there it is, a film by Dee Rees. Very cool cover. And that is a standard Blu-ray, not a 4K like the Trainspotting one. So 2 Criterions coming out tomorrow if you're looking forward to some releases from them. We will do a little bit more talking to you guys, and then, good grief, we are going to have to do a couple more, fly through these last couple rows here. Some of these at the bottom here are just re-releases and different versions of stuff we've already talked about. So we don't have to go into super detail down there, but we'll go ahead and round it out and finish up here pretty soon. Let's see. Zakwan 10, The Dog Who Stopped the War, is from Canada, but in French. Great film. Oh, okay, interesting. Thank you. I accidentally said France because I saw the language was in French, but it is a Canadian film. Sweet. So a Canadian family film about a dog who stopped a war. That's really cool. Thank you for the correction there. Let's see. Evil Wax says Ed Wood has been on my list for a long time, but I haven't watched it yet. Me neither. That's also a film that I'd like to see because apparently it's like Tim Burton's best film, and I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan, so I'd like to see, one of his best. So I need to watch that. Let's see. An internet user says, "Yep, it's young Pitt." I thought so. Babyface Pitt. Oh, it's his debut. Dan says it's infamous for being Pitt's film debut. Let me switch over here so you can see the questions. Rover Dangerfield freaked me out as a kid. That movie is way too adult for what was sold to kids. That's what it looked like just from those screenshots. Like, it did not seem like a kid's movie. But I guess it was sold that way. That's kind of unfortunate. Ethan said you should get Boy with the Green Hair. It's on sale for $8.49, as cheap as Warner Archive gets, and it's a good one to watch with the kids. Interesting. I will have to make a note of that. Boy with the Green Hair. Boy with the Green Hair. I feel like I've heard of that before. And I don't know if he's being serious or if he's joking if it's a good one to watch the kids. Probably joking, considering it's Ethan Edwards. An internet user, I believe Pitt was in short-lived TV show prior to Thelma and Louise. Okay, interesting. I think I know what that is too. Something about fall. Kevin House. Cabin in the Sky is well worth watching. Vincent Minnelli directed it with an all-black cast, and it has some wonderful musical numbers. Very cool. Very cool. Cabin in the Sky, we just talked about. Interesting. I didn't even get that from the cover. The artwork is deceiving. Let's see. Connor Nielsen, been picking up a lot of Warner Archive lately. Dodsworth, The Letter, Jezebel, King Solomon's Mines, Cimarron, The Great Ziegfeld, The Life of Emile Zola, and The Broadway Melody. Yeah, Connor's been sending me all the pictures of all the Warner Archive he's been picking up. He's trying to collect every Best Picture nominee of all time. So good luck with that, and I'm glad you've been picking up some Warner Archive. They're great. They put out great stuff. Jeffrey Patron says Cabin in the Sky is Vincent Minnelli's debut film that he directed. Love it. Also great to see Jonathan Banks in the Criterion Collection. Good. All good stuff. Ethan Edwards says Warner Archive Blu-rays are often better than most studio 4Ks. They do a better job than anyone, including Criterion, in regards to transfers. Well, that's good. And that's all that really matters with those older films, because there's not too much in the way of supplements anyway, and you don't really need some bells and whistles packaging. So at least they're doing the best job with what is important for those. Internet user, did we skip Trainspotting? Did we skip Trainspotting? I think we did. I think you're right. Somebody brought it up in the chat, so we already kind of talked about it. So I didn't actually talk about it, but we'll go back to it here in a second. Thank you for reminding me of that. Connor says also, if your local Barnes & Noble has any Kino Lorber titles, they're also 50% off. I picked up Judgment at Nuremberg and Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Yeah, Connor told me about that. I have never seen a Kino Lorber movie in a Barnes & Noble or in like the wild anywhere. But Connor has a really nice Barnes & Noble, and they had some Kino Lorbers, and he said they're also on sale. So maybe go check them out. If you're not a Criterion collector, an Arrow collector, and you like Kino Lorber, maybe go to a Barnes & Noble and see if they have any. Let's see. Anime fan, you're not a Tim Burton fan? That's sad to hear, because he's one of my favorite directors. Oh, don't be sad. Everyone has their own favorite directors. Maybe I'll get around to him eventually. I do really like Big Fish. That's a movie I really like. And that's Tim Burton. And I don't know if I've seen many others of his films. Luke, have you ever thought of doing some Razzies-esque content like top 5 worst films of the year? I haven't. I don't really like talking about things I don't like. I get really bored. I'm not one of those like guys who like really loves to like lay on a film and like has fun crapping on films. I don't know. It doesn't interest me. So I don't know if I would be the right person to do that. But we will be doing a top 10, or like kind of our Oscar video that I did with Grace last year. We'll be doing that again in the next couple weeks here. We just got to see all the shorts, and we have to see one more Best Picture nominee. We've seen everything now except for, what is it called? Zone of Interest. We got to see Zone of Interest. It's still in the theaters though. It's not streaming, so we got to find a time to get out of the house and go see it. Let's see. What else do we got? Can we jump back? I think we can jump back. Everyone's just kind of talking to each other in the chat, which is great. Keep on doing that. Let's go ahead and go back to Trainspotting, because the idiot running this show completely skipped over it. But everybody knows this is coming out. This is a huge deal. Trainspotting 4K Blu-ray, and it's a digipack, which is intriguing that the other guy who had seen the packaging, said it was the worst packaging he's ever seen. I don't know what the digipack looks like. All I have is the cover here, but I'm interested. I always like digipacks, and I would like to see what the rest of it looks like. That's a 1996 film. It's only 94 minutes. That's a really young performance by young Obi-Wan. And yeah, there you go. Everybody knows what Trainspotting is. I haven't seen that one yet, so I didn't go crazy about it like everyone else did when they announced it. But let me know if you think I would like that film, because I'm still on the fence. I don't know if that's a movie I would like or not. But that's coming out tomorrow. So, well, I don't know. I was going to say rush out to your Barnes & Nobles, but maybe not. Maybe that's when you can wait for the February sale. What else is coming out this week? Good Lord. If my voice holds out, we'll finish this up. We've got Stilke Heinz 15 getting a Blu-ray. This is an Altered Innocence. I'm assuming all of these are partner labels of Vinegar Syndrome because they also have limited edition slipcovers that are only covering the first 1,000 copies. This looks kind of like a Nazi film. Not a Nazi film, but like about that time period. It is a foreign drama and war picture from 1987. Again, because we're only releasing 80s movies this week. I really want to know if they all like collaborated together. All the labels are like, hey, we're only releasing 80s films this week. But here's another one, Vile 21. This is actually a 90s film from VHS Hitfest. That's gotta be another label from Vinegar Syndrome. Another 1,000 copy slipcover and original pressing. And we've also got Lady World coming out from 2018. Which is something I've never heard of. Yellow Veil. That is definitely a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome. I bought the Saragossa manuscript from Yellow Veil, so I know for a fact that one is that they usually put out newer things. Saragossa manuscript and his other two films were kind of anomalies for Yellow Veil. They usually put out newer independent films, so that's a 2018 film. And we've also got, excuse me, I clicked on the wrong thing there. We have, let's see if you can scroll down and find where we were. Good grief. We are on January 30th. Here we go. So much stuff coming out this week. We have another Warner Archive release from Warner Brothers, 1932's Faithless, starring Robert Montgomery and Tallulah Bankhead. Interesting. That looks really cool. That looks like a very golden age Hollywood film. Like I said, 1932. Just a straight up drama film. Looks like a romance. Very interesting. So that's Warner Archive. And then another film from Arrow. I don't know why this one's so far down the list. Conan was way at the top. This is an Arrow film from 1971 called Murphy's War. It's a war drama. I guess people aren't as interested in war dramas as they are in 80s fantasy sword and sorcery things. But this is a drama film, and it's not like a big slipcase or anything. It's just a slip-covered release, kind of like the, what would you say? What was a recent one that they did? Hugo. Hugo was a recent one that just came with a slipcover and some art cards inside. Very cool cover artwork on that, though. It's on the disc and the slipcover and the case underneath. Would have been nice if we got an alternate cover on the disc. Maybe there is. Maybe it's just the same. But I like the artwork, and I've never heard of that film, so that's really cool. It's like a World War II looking thing. It's got a Nazi flag right there. So Murphy's War from 1971. That's really cool. A lot of war films. two war films in a row. Let's knock out these last two here from Art Label, which is another label that puts out slipcovers and original pressing from limited to 1,000 copies. I'm sure that's another Vinsyn partner label. And it's called Surf Reality, Movie of the Month Club Collection, which has a very interesting cover. I don't know what that is. It is a dark comedy, dark surreal comedy. Oh, interesting. 9 movies on there. 9 movies for $22. Is that for real? That's crazy. That's incredible. I don't know anything about the films, but that's a good deal at least. And then Loaded Guns from 1975 is getting a Blu-ray release from Rare Video US, which is an action film from 1975. Interesting. Lots of stuff coming out. I'm losing my voice just talking about this stuff. Let me switch over here and talk to you guys a little bit more. We got to wrap this up soon. I don't want to go longer than 2 hours. How long have we been streaming? I don't even know how long we've been streaming. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 9 minutes. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's keep it going. Where was I? I was here. Dan's Den, talking trash about movies is boring, even bad movies I don't like. I prefer breaking down why they didn't work. Yeah, similar. I mean, I share that sentiment. Connor says Trainspotting is quite good. Don't think you'd like it though. Okay, good to know. Connor knows me pretty well, so I'll agree. Bailey Walsh says the Trainspotting release glows in the dark. Oh, that's why it looks like that. Interesting. I think I do remember that now. That because I think I did a video about that month. Jeffrey Petrone, Trainspotting holds such a place in my heart. The soundtrack is icing on delicious cake made of heroin. Okay. Jeffrey may have just revealed something about himself. Kevin House, Trainspotting's Johnny Lee Miller was great as Sherlock Holmes in TV's Elementary. I never got into Elementary. I heard a lot about that, though. It was like an American remake of Sherlock Holmes while the British BBC one was going on at the same time. I don't know if that's a BBC show, actually, but it was, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Danny Boyle, director of Trainspotting, came to my university in October. He's extremely nice. Nice to see Hollywood and big studios still support guys like him. That's really, really cool. Nobody came to my college. It was a pretty uneventful experience for me. Trainspotting has some scat moments. If you know, you know. Well, I don't know because I haven't seen it. So, whoosh. Evil Wax, I was scared by the scene with the baby in Trainspotting. Man, everyone's just talking about Trainspotting now. Dan's Den, Faithless is one of the many early dull-sounding 30s failed Bankhead star vehicles. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe I won't check that one out. And Evil Wax says kind of trippy cover on Murphy's War. Yeah, the rippling waves on that seemed pretty interesting. All right, we're getting down to the wire here. We have talked about, I can't even keep track of how many movies we've mentioned tonight. Silent Night, we talked about the 4K Walmart exclusive Lionsgate Steelbook earlier. It is also getting a standard release. There you can see as a Blu-ray. We've got a film here from 2013 to 2017 called Big World. It's called In Bloom and My Happy. Two movies from Big World Pictures. It's got some interesting artwork there. I'm assuming this is just a straightforward drama. But yeah, there's two more films from 2013 and 2017 getting a nice release. I love the things that these more obscure, unknown films are getting releases these days. From 2023, we've got Eileen. Oh, is this that? What is this? This is it. Okay. So has anyone seen, I don't even know how to say it. Eileen? This is the 2023 film starring Anne Hathaway. That was apparently like a Christmas movie. It came out at the end of the year. It's called a wild Hitchcockian noir. So this would be a neo-noir from starring Anne Hathaway. I was excited to see this. My friend John told me about this. He said it was considered like a Christmas film. He told me about it in December. It must have got a super limited run because I didn't even hear about it at all. And now it's already on physical. It's a drama, mystery, period piece, psychological thriller. A woman's friendship with a new coworker at the prison facility where she works takes a sinister turn. Very interesting. I will have to add that one to the list because I didn't get a chance to see that one. And I like Anne Hathaway. I haven't seen her in anything in a long time, though. But that's a 2023 film. Brand new, already out on physical. Fatal Frame from Discotheque Media. We're getting really far down the list in the list of boutique labels. I am not even familiar with that label. That's coming out tomorrow as well. And then we've got a bunch of anime stuff, but TV. So I don't usually talk about TV on this channel. And I know that these movies are kind of related to TV, and I'm no expert there, so I'm not going to get too far into those. I think we've done it. I think we've wrapped up all the big things. The Boogans is also getting a Blu-ray release there from Kino Lorber. Cutting Class, like we talked about earlier, is getting a different collector's edition. This one does have a slipcover. It looks like there's the front and the back. So you've got a slipcover with two different sides. I've never bought an MVD release before, but there's been a couple that I've wanted to pick up. I've seen on eBay that are out of print, so that's pretty cool. I didn't know they did custom slipcovers. That is from 1989. We already talked about that film, but there's multiple releases of that coming out. And then there's just a lot of re-releases of things that already had Blu-rays, like Edge of 17, Free State of Jones, Happy Time Murders. You see these are like, they just fill stores like Walmarts and Targets with these kind of re-releases. Bad Moms is getting a release. Molly's Game, Secret in Their Eyes, Space Between Us and I Feel Pretty, starring the great Amy Schumer. Tons and tons of stuff coming out tomorrow. You should have no problem finding something to pick up. The Gift is also getting a re-release, which I heard great things about The Gift. It's from Lionsgate's film. I wish Lionsgate had done one of their slipcovered steelbook releases for that, because that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, I've heard that's a great mystery thriller film from 2015 that I didn't get a chance to see. But look at this. We talked about Arrow. We talked about Kino Lorber. We talked about Vinegar Syndrome and a bunch of their partner labels. We talked about Criterion is putting out a couple things tomorrow. So tons of stuff coming out tomorrow. Warner Archive dropping a lot of things. Most of the stuff you're probably going to have to find online or from Amazon.com, unfortunately, because physical media is not dying, but it is dying out in the wild in brick and mortar stores, which is unfortunate, but it is reassuring that we are having still tons of stuff coming out each week from all of these new boutique labels, and physical media is not going anywhere. So don't worry, guys. There's tons of stuff to buy. Like I said, I'll be filming a video tomorrow where I go out to some local Barnes & Nobles and do some Arrow video hunting. So stay tuned for that video later this week. Also, I have that video about the Hungarian trilogy and my crazy experience of the 7.5 hour movie that I watched in the theater this weekend. So I'll be doing a video on that. And then also I opened up my second run haul video. I already recorded this video. I opened up all the things I bought from second run last week. So that will be edited and up again on the channel this week. I've been posting usually on Friday. So I've been doing live streams at the beginning of the week and posting a video on Friday, trying to get a couple shorts up. So yeah, you can begin and end your week with Films by Color. And I thank you so much for those of you guys who have done that and always leave comments. I love talking to you guys down there. And let's do it a little bit more. Let's chat a little bit more before I close up shop here tonight. Connor Nielsen says he has to head out, but have a good night, y'all. No worries, man. Good to see you. Thanks for always popping in. I really appreciate you. WI Watch Guy, first comment I've seen tonight from you. Trainspotting is definitely good. Some colorful characters with a nice soundtrack, but some drug-related stuff can be dark. See it when it came out, and T2 is also good, but the first is better. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I could go either way. I like dark stuff sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time, but I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know anything from that director, so I don't know if I'll like it or not. Kevin House. It's been written that Tallulah Bankhead didn't wear underwear. Just saying. Wow, there he is again. He's back with his tidbits. Thank you. Poor choice of words right there. Ethan Edwards. I haven't watched Trainspotting in probably 20 years, but have the studio Blu-ray. I think I need to rewatch it now. Cool. Let's see. Evil Wax. I'll take your word for it, Jeffrey. Don't know what he's talking about, but Jeffrey said something funny. Bailey Welsh. I want to see Eileen. I've heard mixed things on it. I've read the book, and I'm interested in how they adapted it. I think the narrative style of it won't work as well on film. Interesting. Thank you for the little background information there. Bailey Walsh is my book to screen expert. She's always talking about books. She reads a lot of books. I don't know how you find the time to read books and watch movies. I can't barely find the time to just watch movies, but I really thank you for all of your expertise on adaptations. So thanks for that. I do want to check that one out as well. She also says Eileen takes place around Christmas time. Even the back of the book calls it Hitchcockian, but I didn't really get that personally. Interesting. So maybe it's kind of misrepresenting itself. Jeffrey Patron, Code Anime Fan. If you're ever curious, you should check out anime. I used to not seek out anime, but now I'm named after an anime. Yeah, Code. I never say your full name because I don't know how to pronounce it. Code Geese Anime Fan, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Anime is one of those things that's like just too like comic books. It's just too massive. It's too intimidating, and I don't think I have the time to really get into it. Like there's too much stuff I already want to watch, so I don't know if I can jump off another cliff. I'm already jumping off so many cliffs. Michael Smith. Molly's Game is good for anyone who is sick of seeing Michael Cera play the same goofy guy. He's a major D-bag in this movie. Interesting. I haven't seen that before. Thanks for that. I'll have to... I don't know. I think I've heard enough about Molly's Game. I don't know if that one's something I want to check out, but that's a really interesting angle. And Dan's Den says he's allegedly playing Tobey Maguire. Well, I have heard that. I have definitely heard that that movie's about Tobey Maguire, which checks out because Tobey sucks. He's the worst Spider-Man we've ever had. Evil Wax 73. Thanks, DJ. Have a good evening, all. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, everyone who's been popping in and chatting tonight. Having a really good time. Luke says, have you seen any of the big Oscar snubs like The Killer, Priscilla, or Saltburn? No, actually. I haven't gotten around to seeing any of those. The Killer is the Michael Fassbender movie. Have not seen that one. Priscilla I didn't see. Priscilla didn't sound very interesting to me. I mean, it's interesting. It is cool that we got an Elvis movie last year from Elvis's perspective. A really weird, like obviously like wacky movie from Elvis's perspective, and then we got one this year, a more serious drama from Priscilla's perspective. I haven't heard anyone call that a snub. I didn't hear great things about that one, but maybe some people are calling it a snub. The biggest snubs I've heard about are obviously Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig for Barbie, not getting director and best actress. I wasn't too upset about that because they both still got nominated for producer and writer, I believe. So they at least got nominated. I'm fine with that. If you want to get more, I just want variety at the show. So like, if you want to get other people nominated and you're like, well, they have already been nominated as a producer and a writer, then, you know, get some other names in there, which is cool. We got another name for best actress from Naiad, which I haven't seen yet. So that's cool to get a little variety in there, but I understand why people are mad about that. The biggest snub for me was not getting freaking Spider-Verse nominated for best score. Such a good score. Pemberton is a genius, I think, and the fact that he didn't even get nominated for score is insane. I assume it's just because it's an animated film and they don't usually let those into other categories, but Golden Globes did it, and I think Critics' Choice did it as well, so I was hoping that we would get it for Oscars, but whatever. It's ridiculous that they nominated Indiana Jones, which I can't even remember a single thing about the score. Anything that I could remember would probably just be reused from the other films. I told John that I was upset about it, about Indiana Jones being there and not Spider-Verse, and he said, it's John Williams. He gets in just for sneezing, so I guess whatever. If they have to do that, that's fine, but I was super bummed to see that that of all things got nominated. Indiana Jones. Crazy. But Saltburn, you mentioned Saltburn, I'm rambling, is a film that I also haven't seen. My wife has seen it though. When I don't know where I was somewhere watching a movie or doing something. I was doing a work thing. I was doing a work dinner, and she watched Saltburn while I was gone, and she couldn't stop talking about it for days. So I kind of wish I'd watched it with her because she really liked that, and she's mad that he wasn't nominated for Best Actor because she thought he was amazing in that. But yeah, that's probably the one I know the most about because Grace has been talking to me about it. But there's always snubs. But I thought this was a pretty solid year overall. I like all the films that are in the top 10. I think Oppenheimer's probably going to get a lot more Oscars than I would like. I would like, a little bit more variety, but what are you going to do? Sean Fox, have a great night, everyone. It feels so great to connect with fellow film enthusiasts. It does, man. It's great. I love talking to you guys on here. And I'm going to continue doing this every week for as long as you guys will let me because I'm having a really good time. Let's see. An internet user, thanks for the stream. Made me dealing with my headache go a bit smooth. Oh, good. I'm glad that my voice didn't increase your headache because that's what it would do to me if I had to listen to myself for 2 hours. Wiley J draws. People care about the Oscars? Yeah, lots of people care about the Oscars. Of course, like you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like rating and ranking movies and ranking art is always stupid. Like it's kind of dumb. But I mean, I don't know. I rank things every time I watch something on Letterboxd, so it's dumb, but at least it's fun. And the main reason I like the Oscars is not because of who wins or whatever the awards. It's just because I like that it spreads awareness about films that I wouldn't have heard about otherwise. Like there's a lot of films I wouldn't have even known about if it wasn't for the awards season. So I'm very thankful for that. I wouldn't have probably seen American Fiction. I wouldn't have seen May December probably. There's a lot of films that I really liked, and glad they got some attention because of the awards. Luke says, biggest snub for me was DiCaprio. Yeah, what? Like, right? That was crazy. Well, before I had seen Killers, everyone was like talking about DiCaprio. I was like, wait, he's always great. Like, but after I saw it, like he was, and I was surprised. Wait, was De Niro nominated? Maybe he was, but I thought they were both excellent in that movie. Very, very good. And the biggest snub for acting for me, I'm talking about this too much. We'll talk about this in a whole nother video. I'm giving away all that content right now. The biggest snub for me was the lead actor in May December. I don't know his name right now, but I was super bummed that he didn't get in. I thought he was incredible. I need someone to explain to me the Robert Downey Jr. thing. I thought he was fine. He didn't like blow me away though, but apparently he's like the shoe-in to win. But I would have liked to see some other names in there. John Malahai, didn't you see the last 20 minutes of Saltburn? Yes, I did see the last like couple scenes of Saltburn because I got home as they were watching it, so I did see some, but I wasn't really looking at the screen. I don't like to see the ending spoiled for me, so I was kind of just looking down because I might see it eventually. Robert De Niro was nominated. Okay, good. He deserved to be. He was great. I don't think he got in just because like the John Williams thing. I think he actually was really good in that. Jeffrey Patron, Charles Melton. Thank you. Yes, everybody go check out May December because Charles Melton is incredible in that movie. I don't know. I really, really resonated with that performance. That's not a creepy thing. I mean, it's a very kind of creepy movie, but I just thought he was so realistic in that. Dan's Den, you'd be surprised when it comes to people competitiveness of the Oscars. I don't know exactly what he means by that. I guess he means responding to that earlier comment that people don't care about the Oscars. Yeah. There's also just a fun thing. It's just it's something fun to talk about. I don't really get into this, but I know my wife, Grace, loves this, and John also loves this as well. Like the competitiveness of like predicting the Oscars. It's just like gambling or any other kind of thing like that where people want to get as close as they can. I can't even compete. Like every year, Grace destroys me at guessing the Oscars. She's really good about it, about keeping up and seeing what's going on and what's slated to win and stuff. I care more about like, just my favorites, but I try. Every year I try, and every year I lose, and I'm sure I'm going to lose to her again this year. I've been keeping up a little bit more this year, but I think she's just, I don't know. She's really good at guessing, or not just guessing. She's really good at predicting what's going to win. Luke says maybe people love RDJ as it's a bit unexpected for him as a person. Yeah. I think he was definitely different enough. But I don't know. It just didn't wow me. Maybe I need to watch Oppenheimer again. Maybe I can somehow carve out 3 more hours to watch that again. Probably not, but it wasn't my favorite. Internet user says I really need to watch The Zone of Interest. That is, like I said, the last one we need to see. We've seen all 9 other Best Picture noms, but we got to watch Zone of Interest. And I'm really excited to see it. We were going to try to watch it yesterday, but then we realized it was not streaming and it was in the theater. So we're going to have to find some way to see it. My brother got us a Regal gift card, a Regal Cinemas gift card for Christmas, but we don't have any Regal theaters around us. They all closed down. So maybe we can get my parents to watch the kids or something and drive way out of town and go to a Regal and use that gift card and finally see Zone of Interest, because that's the last one we got to see. Chuck Walt. Hey, welcome, Chuck. Just saw Mulholland Drive for the first time tonight. What the heck did I just watch? I don't know, because I haven't seen that yet, but I definitely know that it's one of those kind of films. David Lynch is known for that. So did you at least enjoy it? Let me know if you enjoyed it. It sounds like you were just more confused by it, but that's a great experience for me. I don't know. I love when I walk out of a film and don't understand what I just watched and have to go like do research and try to, figure it out or watch it again. But yeah, that's one on the list. Got to get to that one. Luke says Ari Aster did say the biopic is the worst genre. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have any favorite biopics. I definitely wasn't that big of a fan of Oppenheimer. I know that's criminal to say because everyone wants it to win Best Picture, but yeah, it wasn't my favorite. Kevin Howe's Zone of Interest soon will be at our local art house cinema, so I'll see it in the next week or so. Same thing, man. Same thing. We're gonna hopefully check that out. Like I said, we're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch the best or the nominated shorts, live action shorts, and then the animated shorts. And then there's a couple more like stray things that we might want to see. Rustin, the lead actor of Rustin, is nominated for Best Picture. Society of the Snow is nominated for International Film, so I want to see that as well. That's available on Netflix right now, so you can check that out. And there's something else that's available on Netflix, Naiad, another film that's nominated for Best Actress, also available on Netflix. Turtleneck. Turtleneck just said, thank you. I feel like Oppenheimer is overrated. Yeah. Like I talked about it a little bit last week. I won't really dig a grave for myself again, but it's incredibly made, like perfect, technically perfect. It just didn't work for me personally. Just a personal thing. It's not one of my favorites. Ethan says he loves biopics, so everyone's different. Yeah, lots of love for that movie. I think it's got the most nominations this year, and it almost like tied the record or something. Like it was pretty close. Brian Childs, hey, welcome to the stream. On top / off topic, Ida from 2013 is definitely my favorite best foreign film from the Oscars. So beautiful. Interesting. I haven't seen that one yet. That was way before I was keeping up with the Oscars. 2013, DJ was, what was he doing? He was in the middle of right in the middle of college and wasn't watching Oscar films, that's for sure. But yeah, I people talking about what kind of a film Passion of the Christ is in the comments. Michael Smith says, is Passion of Christ a biopic? And then Ethan Edwards says Passion of the Christ is a horror film. Luke says Topsy Turvy is a great biopic from Mike Lee. You may like it as it's about theater. It's about Gilbert and Sullivan, if you've ever heard of them, the theater producers / composer. No, I have heard of them, but I haven't heard of that movie. That's pretty cool. What year did that come out? Another biopic that came out this year that I'm really interested in that got completely forgotten because right after it came out, like Hollywood shut down and went on a strike. But before everything shut down, I was hearing a lot of praise for Glenn Howerton's performance in Blackberry. Blackberry came out early last year, too early to be remembered for anything, I'm guessing. And like I said, it got completely buried after Hollywood shut down. But I'm really interested in checking out Blackberry. I've heard nothing but great things about that director. I think he's Canadian. And also about Glenn Howerton's performance. And I love Glenn Howerton. Huge Always Sunny fan. He's always great. I don't know. I say he's always great. I haven't seen him in any movies, but I've heard he's great in that, and I really want to see that. So hopefully I can watch that in the next couple weeks as well. An internet user says Topsy Turvy has a Criterion release. Oh, duh. I have that. No, I didn't even put that together. I have Topsy Turvy. I found that at a local CD warehouse, which is a used store around me. It's got that really cool cover. It's actually the first cover that ever jumped out at me at a Barnes & Noble when I first looked at the Criterion stuff. I was like, that's a really cool cover. And I picked it up for like $12 at a CD warehouse, the Blu-ray of that. So I am excited to get into that. I didn't realize it was a biopic, or if I did know that, I had forgotten and didn't remember. So thanks for the reminder on that. I got to finally watch that. Luke said it came out in the 90s. I believe it's in the Criterion Collection. Yes, it is. And it did come out in the 90s, and I knew that. I don't know why I didn't put together what you were talking about. I guess I'm getting tired. It is 10:30 here, so I should probably wrap this up pretty soon. Dan says Blackberry's good. So that's another recommendation there. So I got to check that out. And Luke says it's a very British film, speaking about Topsy Turvy. So yeah, that's one I got to check off the list as well. So many things I got to watch. I've got a 2024 shortlist on my Letterboxd that I have to start making my way through this year. There's so much stuff. Every time I get on a roll and I start watching through some stuff on the shelf, like I did with these Hungarian films this week, there's always something else coming out and something else to distract me. So like I said, we're going to be looking for Conan, and hopefully I can watch that this week because I've never seen that before. And that'll be a fun watch, and then I'll do a video right afterwards talking about it. And then let's wrap this up here. We've got the most people we've ever had here at the end of the stream, which is weird because I'm just talking about nonsense at this point. But WI Watch Guy says Topsy Turvy is supposed to be great. Watched La La Land because Netflix said it was leaving soon. Paid more attention this time, and it's good, though maybe only half a musical. Thoughts on La La Land. That was like a roller coaster for me. So I need to rewatch it because I remember really, really loving it most of the way through, and then I remember not liking the ending and kind of not loving it. And then I watched a ton of Jacques Demy films, and I saw all the stuff he was like ripping from and referencing, I guess, if you want to say it nicely. So I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if that makes me want to watch it more or if that makes me want to watch it less, because I love Demy's stuff. Obviously, he's taking a lot from Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which kind of, I won't spoil anything, has a similar ending, and I can see where he's pulling from there. So I don't know. I just need a second viewing. I didn't have the greatest first viewing, but now that I know a little bit more about, Demy and other stuff from that time period that he's into, the director's into, and I've seen a couple other of his films too, I might have a better experience with it now. And we do have it back there. I think Grace liked it a lot more than me, and she did pick up a physical copy back there. So yeah, I need to rewatch that one because I have very weird mixed feelings about it. But thanks for the reminder on that. Maybe that'd be a good February watch. Maybe you can watch that next month. Luke says La La Land is heartbreaking in my opinion, wholly superior to Whiplash, maybe because I love musicals, and how it feels you can just eat everything on screen. Interesting. Everything you see is edible. I mean, you can eat almost everything. Luke, so Luke loved it. I would recommend Luke checking out some of Jacques Demy's musicals if you liked it. If you haven't seen it, maybe you already have, but Jacques Demy's musicals are wonderful. And the feeling you're talking about where you can eat almost everything on screen, 100% applies to Jacques Demy's musicals, especially Young Girls of Rochefort. Really, really recommend that one. That's one of my favorite musicals of all time now, and we've only seen it once. After one viewing, we loved it so much that it's one of our favorites now. So I recommend that. Definitely recommend Young Girls of Rochefort, Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Donkey Skin is one of my favorite Jacques Demy films. It's a weird, like, fairy tale film. It's based on the same writer of Beauty and the Beast. No. Beauty and the Beast? No. The same writer as, like, Cinderella and some of those other fairy tales. So I know the Grimm's brothers also have a Cinderella, but the writer of Donkey Skin also has a Cinderella. Oh, there's a bunch of crossover back in the day. But anyway, it's a fairy tale film, and it's kind of reminiscent of the Beauty and the Beast film from 1946 by Jean Cocteau. So if you like that and you want to see like a more updated color version with Jacques Demy's beautiful visual style, I highly recommend Donkey Skin. There's a couple other Jacques Demy films in that box set that I haven't seen yet, but those three I can highly recommend if you want to check those out. Bailey Walsh says, I feel like I was disappointed with La La Land because I was expecting something more like a Jacques Demy film. I also need to give it a rewatch though. Yeah, so I had the same experience, but that was before I had seen any Jacques Demy. So if you're saying that, I might like it even less on a rewatch afterwards. So I don't know. We'll see where I land on a second viewing of that. WI Watch Guy says, yeah, second viewing is much better, and I didn't love the ending, but at least it was different and not a generic happy ending. Bailey Walsh says, I rewatched Donkey Skin towards the beginning of the month and am now in a fairy tale era. Phew, I could write you a list, man. I should make a Letterboxd list of fairy tale films because there's so many great ones, and I just picked up a few here from. You'll see it in the video, but my second run pick included 3 more fairy tale films from Vorlasek and Hertz, two different Czech directors. So I've got some Czech fairy tale films that I'll be watching pretty soon, and I'll be talking about those. I already shot the video for that, so that'll be up, if not this week, towards the beginning of next week. So no, I think I'm gonna get that one up this week. If the Arrow video thing doesn't completely derail me, I'm gonna get that one edited up this week. So yeah, I love fairy tale films, and Donkey Skin's one of the best. Luke says, I'll have to look for Demy. I haven't checked him out. My personal favorite musicals are Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, and Singin' in the Rain. Oh, that's a great period of musicals. Of those 3, my favorite is probably Sound of Music, but I've only seen the other 2 once. So I know people love Singin' in the Rain. But yeah, I love me some Sound of Music. That's one of Grace's favorite movies. She grew up watching that with her grandmother, and that was one of her favorite movies. So she showed that to me when we started dating. I had never seen it, and I fell in love with it through her eyes because it's one of her favorites, and it's great. So yeah, lots of great musicals. If you want to check out Jacques Demy, Luke, I recommend the box set from Criterion. It's a Criterion box set, so it might be a little pricey, but if you get it for a 50% off sale, it shouldn't be too bad. And they're all bangers, as the kids say. Ethan Edwards, get the bandwagon if you enjoy musicals. Another recommendation from Ethan. Thank you there. Bandwagon. What did we watch this weekend? So when we were away on my birthday weekend in that cabin in the woods, we watched Brigadoon. If you haven't seen Brigadoon, that is a very fun movie. It's almost like it's this weird fantasy musical starring, what's his name? He's also in Young Girls of Rochefort from Jacques Demy. Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly stars in this musical, and it's a fantasy film. It's like about this mythical town from like the past. It's like frozen in time, and Gene Kelly like stumbles in there, and it's a really, really fun movie. I put it on because I thought it would be a good movie to just kind of have on in the background while we were hanging out in the cabin. But I kind of want to watch it again. I need to pick up the Warner Archive release. I think there's a Blu-ray of it. I don't know if it's Warner Archive or not, but it was fun. It was really cool. It's kind of like a fairy tale too, and it is it's super weird. Brigadoon. There was like a Apple TV Plus show that was like based on it. It was a Keegan Michael Key thing, and that was recent. But yeah, I had never seen Brigadoon, but it was really fun. Check that out if you're interested in a super weird musical. And the cool thing about it is it's completely shot like outside, but it's obvious that it's all like a set. But it's a massive, huge set, kind of like the Ballad of Narayama. That's shot in kabuki style, which is a Japanese film where it's like the whole like you're just in this massive outside forest set. It looks kind of like that. It looks beautiful. I love that kind of stuff when it's just giant outdoor set. You can kind of tell, but it's kind of charming. I don't know. Brigadoon. Check it out. Put it on the list. Kevin House, my 3 favorite films are in order. 3 favorite films of all time, not even just musicals. Okay, here we go. Strap in. My 3 favorite films are in order: Meet Me in St. Louis, Mary Poppins, and The Sound of Music. And yes, The Bandwagon is great too. Wow. So you love musicals, Kevin. I didn't know this about you. You love musicals. Your 3 favorite films of all time Meet Me in St. Louis, Mary Poppins, and The Sound of Music. Yeah, of those three, I would say Meet Me in St. Louis is probably the best, but I love Sound of Music too. And that's awesome. I didn't know that. Yeah, if there's one kind of genre I associate with you, it's fantastical, overall fantasy, and fairy tale. Yep, that's me. You got me. You got my number. Ethan Edwards, Cabin in the Woods is good too. It is good. I love Cabin in the Woods. Grace does not love Cabin in the Woods. That's one that I like to watch during around Halloween time, but Grace won't watch it with me because she got freaked out. She has a thing with clowns, and I didn't warn her about the clown scene, even though it's like 3 seconds. It really messed her up. So she won't watch Cabin in the Woods with me. That's not her cup of tea, but I love that movie. I think it's really cool. Gus Amaretti, if you like musicals, watch Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Gosh, I need to come to these streams with like a notepad next time so I can write all these down. I'm gonna have to go back in the stream after the fact and write some of these down. But Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, I think I recognize that. I think that got a Blu-ray release somewhat recently. WI Watch Guy, you're sure you're not talking about Pleasantville? No, I'm not talking about Pleasantville. Pleasantville, what is Pleasantville? I'm talking about Bridget Dune, but what is Pleasantville? Oh, I know what Pleasantville. That is a good Tobey Maguire movie. I love Pleasantville. Watched that a few years ago and really, really loved it. No, it's not. It's not that. But I do love Pleasantville. That was surprising how much I liked Pleasantville. I was not expecting to like that as much as I did. Luke, I was wondering, as you like circus films, have you seen The Elephant Man by Lynch, a true story of a man held in a circus? Dude, yes, I'm familiar with Elephant Man. I started it when we were on vacation, but my dad literally came in and was like, what in the world are you watching? So this was a vacation that me and Grace did with the kids and with my parents, which is the first time we've ever done that. But we went to the beach last year and I put on Elephant Man and my dad thought I was crazy and no one else cared. So I turned it off. I didn't get to finish it, but I really do want to watch Elephant Man and I do love circus films. And that's kind of why I picked it up and that's why I wanted to be my first Lynch film. But no, I haven't seen that yet. And I will watch it soon though. But I did start it. I saw the opening montage with the elephant like stomping on somebody, but I haven't got any further than that, unfortunately. But I am looking forward to checking out Elephant Man. I watched another circus film recently. What did I watch? Oh, it was this. One of the films in the Hungarian set. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video, but I keep talking about it. Merry-Go-Round. It's not a circus, but it's like a carnival. Everybody go watch Merry-Go-Round by Zoltán Fabry. It is an incredible film. Apparently it's one of the best Hungarian films ever, according to the essay inside here. But yes, highly recommend Merry-Go-Round. Very simple, like classic romance between Romeo and Juliet. It's not actually Romeo and Juliet. It's like similar to that, but it is just told in the most beautiful and masterful way I've ever seen. There's some incredible shots in here. There's a famous shot. This is the most famous shot. That's why it's on the cover, of her actually like swinging around on the. It's not a merry-go-round like we think. It's like one of those swing rides where you're sitting in the swings and like flying around like 30 feet in the air. And the dude, the cinematographer, got up like on a swing with the camera. And he was like hanging, and she's like completely in focus the whole time she's swinging around. It's crazy. I don't even know. When I was watching it, I was like, I don't know how in the world they got this shot. And then when I read the essay, it was talking about the crazy setup they had to build for it. And it looks awesome. Everybody check out Merry-Go-Round. I don't know if it's readily available, but it's in this box set from Second Run. It's still in print if you want to check it out. Kevin says, I really love musicals, with An American in Paris probably being my 4th favorite film. Wow. So your entire top 5 is musical, or at least your top 4. And Gus says, I also enjoyed Yankee Doodle Dandy too. Good musical. I watched that kind of like in the background a couple years ago on 4th of July because TCM was playing it. I didn't get to see the whole thing though. So I need to watch the rest of that. Kevin House, since you love carnivals, you should watch the musical Lily with Leslie Caron. I'll add it to the list. Luke, the best part of Elephant Man is Anthony Hopkins as the doctor who experiments on the elephant. Interesting. I didn't know Anthony Hopkins was in that. So that's another reason to check that one out. WI Watch Guy, 20 episodes and done for Carnival. Carnival? I don't know what that means. Somebody explain what this comment means. 20 episodes and done for Carnival. Are those two different things that I should check out? Maybe that's what he means. I don't know what that means, but thanks for the comment. Oh, great question. Great question from Brian Childs. We'll probably end on this one. because we should wrap it up here. I'm going too long. Real quick, Luke says, do people count animated Disney films as musicals like the Aristocats, etc.? Yeah, I count animated. Those are Disney. Those are musicals. Very much so. And some of my favorite musicals. I don't know. I really like Milan. I really like. Yeah, there's some great Disney musicals. Aristocats is fun. I didn't see that one until I was an adult, but yeah, so definitely some musicals. All right. Oh, someone says that Carnival is a TV series. Interesting. Okay. Let me close off with this one because this is a really good question, and I don't know if I'm going to have a really good answer or not. Brian Child says, what's the rarest or hardest to find OOP film in your collection? I think the hardest to find. Yeah, I think it is. I think the Eric Romer Four Seasons collection from World Cinema Library, anything from World Cinema Library is going to be super hard to find because they only made like 500 of them. And you can not find that. Like there was like one on eBay for the longest time, and I didn't want to pay that much, but I eventually just did because I really wanted it. So that Arrow Academy has some out of print box sets. That's a UK company, so there's not a lot of people on eBay selling them in the States, and those are really, really hard to find. I really, really want the Decalogue. The Decalogue box set from Arrow Academy is insane. Like there's like they go for like over $200-$300 if you want one. That's, I mean, if you just want one, it's not even like, I don't know. It's not even like I'm trying to get a sealed copy or something. Like they go super high. The Jacques Rivette Arrow Academy box set is also super high. There's a Woody Allen box set from Arrow Academy that's like insane, like $400-$500. Like that stuff gets really, really hard to find. There's also another label that I got into is Arbalos. They actually did the restoration on Chatantango, which is the film I watched this weekend in the theater by Bela Tar. They have that film set in tango from him, and then they also have Son of the White Mare, which is an animated Hungarian film that I have back there. That's the only Arbalos thing I have right now. But what they do the similar thing where they put out slipcovers for like the first run, and then after that, when you buy them, they don't have the slipcover. Those slipcovers are insanely hard to find. I found Son of the White Mare used to have some slipcovers on eBay, but they were well over $100, and I wasn't going to pay $100 just to get a slipcover. And then the slipcovered version of Satan Tango, no one has it on eBay for sale right now. And the last eBay sale that sold that, well, I looked it up, it was $197 is what it went for. So that would be a dream of mine, to get the original slipcovered editions of those Arbalos releases, but I'm never going to spend that much money, and I'm never going to get those. So if anyone has the Satan Tango limited edition slipcover and wants to, sell that to me for a reasonable price, I would love it. Or the Son of the White Mare or the Juniper Tree, any of their releases. Arbalos is a very, very small boutique label. They only have like 10 spine numbers at this point. So I'm just now getting into them. But yeah, that stuff is insane. If you look up some of the Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers or the Deaf Crocodile slipcovers, like there was a Deaf Crocodile film that I really wanted with a slipcover, but it was like $130. And then the one without the slipcover was only $20. So it's like, But yeah. Criterion used to be, like, I used to think Criterion was like super rare stuff, but that's like I don't know, that's like the simplest collection. Like their most rare thing for them is like $100 tops. But yeah, there's some other labels that are even more rare, more obscure, and especially like if you get into not the boutique labels but the luxury labels, like Wheat Collection or like Nova Media or Blue Fans, or there's a bunch of them. World Cinema Library is one of them. Those ones from like overseas, like the Asian market, that are like these huge deluxe full slips. You get the full slips, and you can also get the one click that has like all 3 or 4 full slips inside of it. And it's like the big giant box. Those things go for like $500-$600 on the aftermarket if you don't get those right away. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I would love to do a video exploring that stuff, like just talking about stuff that I'll never get a chance to talk about because I'm never going to own it, which is a bummer, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone cares about that crazy over-the-top stuff that no one can afford, but it fascinates me because, I don't know, I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Let's see. Let's close up shop here. Who is still here? Justin Rubin says Decalogue will definitely get a 4K. Okay, maybe I'll hold out for that one, but I really like that Arrow Academy box set. Kevin says, thanks, DJ. Great chat tonight. Pop Culture says, you got the Donald Duck Volume 4. That is what I am hunting for. Yes, that one is also super rare from the Walt Disney Treasures collection right there. The two hardest ones to get your hands on are Volume 3 and Volume 4. Volume 3 goes for like $250, and Volume 4 goes for like $400. Very, very hard to get your hands on. I lucked out and found one that was for a lot cheaper than that, and very happy to get those. But yeah, those are super rare as well. And I don't know. I still got to do a video about those. Anyway, let's wrap it up there. There's a really weird tangent right there at the end. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Had a blast talking to you guys tonight and going over all the new releases. I've already told you the other things that are coming out this week. I'll be editing and throwing up those videos soon. So subscribe and hit the notification bell, all that stuff, so you don't miss one of those videos coming out very soon. And I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep collecting, and I'll be back with another video real soon.